You can run, but you cannot hide, because Ukraine has officially confirmed its plans to destroy the Crimean Bridge. In addition to that, the liberation of Kherson region will start literally any day now. And the final nail in the coffin of Russian invasion is that Ukrainian partisans are leaving completely no chances for Russian infiltrators. But more about all of this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's begin by talking about the consequences and the outcome of yesterday's attack against the Russian airbase in Crimean Peninsula. First of all, as you can see from this video, this is basically the parking lot of most likely the employees of this airbase. It is estimated that this parking lot is located approximately 500 meters from the airbase, which basically means that the Russian argument that nothing significant happened is completely invalid. Because if you take a look at this video, you can see that these two explosions happened simultaneously. And according to Russian propaganda, this is the result of just a fire. But most likely, as we all already know, this is the result of either a Ukrainian attack or Russian or Ukrainian partisans. And right here, by the way, you can also see the satellite images of this airbase before and after. This picture was obviously taken before the attack, and in this picture we can see the consequences. And by the way, it is very important to mention that the advisor to the president of Ukraine, Mikhailo Podolyak, said that Ukraine is not responsible for these attacks. And what's so interesting about this phrase is that we all know how Russia likes to blame Ukraine practically for everything. But as you can see, in this specific event, Russia was pretty hesitant to blame Ukraine. And most likely, the reason for this is that in case Russia acknowledges that these were Ukrainian attacks, this basically confirms their inferiority. But anyways, before we talk about Ukrainians severely damaging another bridge of Russians, here is a little quick fun fact from Crimea. The head of Russian tourism, Zarina Daguzova, she is saying that the situation in Crimea is pretty calm and stable. But if we take a look at this video where many people are trying to leave this peninsula, including through Crimean Bridge, we kinda can guess the situation is completely opposite. And in addition to that, the advisor to the president of Ukraine, Alexei Arestovich, he said that the attacks of Ukrainians against Crimea will continue. Alright, and now as promised, let's talk about Ukrainians destroying probably the last major bridge in the south. And the bridge I'm talking about is located in Novokakhovka. As you can see from this video, the railroad part of this bridge has been severely damaged. And recently, Ukrainians started attacking the vehicles part of the bridge as well. Right now, the bridge is still kinda operational, but as you remember, it took several attempts to destroy Antonovsky Bridge. And if we zoom out a little bit and go along this Dnipro river, we can see that the next major bridge is only located in Zaporozhye. Alright, and now let me show you really quick just several videos from the south, and while I'm doing this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. Alright, so the first picture comes to us from Novoalexeyevka, and right here we can see destroyed military vehicle of Russians. And right here we can see, unfortunately, the consequences of artillery strikes of Russians against civilian and residential areas in Nikopol. If we go a little bit to the east, to the small city of Kushugum, we can see that Ukrainian air defense system was able to intercept several Russian missiles. But unfortunately, some of these missiles, they did reach their final destinations, and here we can see the crater from the explosion. And before I talk about Ukrainian partisans who continue to terrorize Russian infiltrators, here is the final video from Mykolaiv. And unfortunately, as you can see, this city was once again under the attack by Russians this last night. And by the way, I have many more footage that I was not able to use in my today's episode, and if you want to see it, please consider checking my Patreon. All the useful links can be found down below. Alright, and now let's talk about the uprising movement of Ukrainian partisans. First of all, we have several reports saying that these partisans were able to create several explosions in Russian infiltrators' headquarters in the city of Melitopol. This headquarters was responsible to do the separation referendum. And in addition to that, there was another explosion also in the Russian infiltrators' headquarters, but this time it was in Mariupol. It is estimated that the main goal of these attacks was to delay these referendums as long as possible and hopefully destroy some paperwork. Because as you already know, Russia wants to end this war as soon as possible by holding these referendums. But guess what? If Ukraine starts starts to take back its own territories and these referendums will never happen, the defeat of Russia will be completely humiliating. And no, I have not forgotten to talk about the liberation of Kherson, so just please hold on a little bit more. But first of all, we have this new video from Mariupol where the new cages for Azov-style prisoners are being shown. It is estimated that this show tribunal against these prisoners will be held approximately by the end of this summer. And by the way, just across Azov Sea, in this Russian city of Aisk, we can see that the Russian oil base is on fire. As for now, it is unknown what caused this incident, but probably just another person who was smoking in an appropriate place. Okay, and right before we talk about the upcoming liberation of Kherson, here is just literally several seconds for me to update you about the situation in the east. First of all, the main goal of Russia in this region remains the same, which is the capturing of Bakhmut. And in order to do this, Russians recently tried to advance next to Solidar and next to Kodyma. But both of these attacks were successfully resisted by Ukrainians. And if we go a little bit to the north, there are several reports that Russians tried to advance in Kharkiv region closer to the city of Udi, but Ukrainians were able to resist this attack as well. And in this video we can see that Ukrainian army was able to destroy another military warehouse of Russians in Donetsk. But unfortunately, Russians were able to contest a relatively big territory to the east of Andriivka. Alright, and now as promised, let's talk about the liberation of Kherson region. Whenever the Major General of Ukrainian army, Dmitry Marchenko, was asked when Kherson will be liberated, he said, just hold on a little bit more. In addition to that, the representative of Kherson region government, Sergei Khlany, he mentioned that the first stage of the liberation of this region has already started. And right now you just don't see significant advancements because first of all Ukrainians have to destroy the military vehicles and infrastructure of Russians. And this includes the air defense systems of Russians, such as for example the airbase which was previously destroyed in Crimean Peninsula, and the infrastructure, such as for example the bridge in Novokakhovka, which we were talking about recently. Because yes, it does make sense. First of all, you have to eliminate all the possibilities for Russians to defend themselves. And as soon as this happens, this is exactly when you launch your counteroffensive. President Zelensky also says that Ukraine must not hold this war with Russia, because right now they're gaining the superiority and they need to finish this war with the total defeat of Russia. And here is the moment you all came for, because President Zelensky also added that this war must be over with the destruction of Crimean Bridge. He basically implied that this will be very symbolic, since this war started because of Crimean Peninsula and so it must end there. In addition to that, the very same Major General of Ukrainian army, Dmitry Marchenko, he said that the destruction of this bridge is a mandatory goal for Ukraine. What it means is that right now we have the official confirmation by Ukrainian government and military representatives that this bridge will be destroyed. And to sum up this section, here is the statement by Vladimir Putin. He said that the truth and good will always beat darkness and evil. And I mean, he's not wrong here. Welcome to another episode of ridiculous Russian propaganda, and today it is very ridiculous. And today we have this news report from France, and it basically says that American mercenaries who are fighting in Ukraine, as soon as they die, Ukrainian soldiers, they start to murder them. And I mean, yeah, even though this is a French news report, most likely from some unknown TV channel, it was the Russian propaganda which was promoting this specific video and basically saying, look how Americans are treated by Ukrainians. Long story short, the narrative goes as following. Americans are helping Ukrainians so much, but in return, Ukrainians kill the very same Americans just to steal their own personal belongings. And obviously, apparently the only logical conclusion of Russians after watching this video is that there is an undeniable evidence that Ukrainians are Nazis who absolutely do not value the human life. Which makes it pretty ironic when you hear Russian propaganda talking about the value of human life. And by the way, if you want to see the updated official statistics about Russian casualties, feel free to join my Discord. And if you want to support my work, please consider becoming my channel member. All the useful links can be found down below. Thank you so much for your attention, stay safe, and see you tomorrow.